Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's great to see you today. My name's Mike. I'm one of the co-founders here at Waybook, and it's great to see many of you piling into the room now. Some familiar faces. Welcome back again. Some new names. So welcome if this is your first product update webinar here at Waybook. We're here every month. We're always liking to share what we're putting into your Waybook account and how that can keep you focused on getting your business on the same page. Now, as you may know, if you've been here before, there's a few ways that you can get involved in this session throughout the next 30 or so minutes. And a few things you can do are get in the chat. Of course, on any good Zoom webinar, it's always about having a bit of a conversation. So please feel free to jump in the chat and you can say hello. Please feel free to share where you're calling from. We have the fantastic Elle in the background. Many of you may have spoken to Elle through customer success and customer support before, and she's on hand to answer any questions you've got coming or in the chat or in the Q&A. The Q&A being the second way that you can get in contact with us today. Please feel free to drop any questions you have, maybe about something we're discussing here, or maybe about something that we've not got on the agenda for today. And we'll be able to answer that either Elle in the background or me live on the webinar. And of course, we've got a few polls coming your way as well. So actually, just to kick us off, I'm just going to launch a bit of a poll, getting a sense of who's here, who's in the room, what do you do, and also how familiar are you with Waybook, what you're looking to achieve. Now, whilst you're doing that, let me have a little focus on terms of what we're going to cover today. So in today's sessions, we're going to be sharing what we've been focusing on over the last 4 weeks. Now, it's the beginning of the year. Obviously, the February update is mostly the work that we've done in January. So it was very much the beginning of the year. And what I'm sure you all like to do in January is, of course, hit the ground running and actually just make sure things are nice and neat and tidy and ready to go. And that is a lot of what we've done. Some of the updates which we've got coming to you are things that may seem smaller, but I can assure you have huge underpinnings and will really dramatically change both your experience on Waybook and also the speed of things to come. And I'll explain on that a little bit more. But the core things that you'll see appearing in your account that you may not have noticed before is, first and foremost, the Waybook AI. It's a fact. AI is the conversation on everybody's lips at the moment, and Waybook AI is here. It's here to stay. We've got loads of things that we're continuing to add on it. It's already in your accounts, and I'm excited to show you what you can do with that. We also are going to be announcing document permissions. This is a big one. This is something that has been requested quite heavily from quite early on and will actually change the way, should you wish it to, that you actually manage your documents, your knowledge, and your team permissions. We also have quite a lot of speed improvements that have gone out to your Waybook accounts. Some are already there. A lot are coming on Monday. So I'm just going to show you what you can expect. And then finally, also just sharing with you the search report. So this is a new report that's gone into everybody's reports page. We can see on the analytics, loads of people are using it already. I've spoken to many Waybook users who are getting huge value, but I just want to share it with as many of you as possible, because even as a Waybook user myself, it has genuinely been eye-opening in terms of utilizing and managing our knowledge. Then, of course, I just want to share with you what we've got in the works and what's coming up, and give you an opportunity to ask any questions, make any suggestions, and that's how we roll. So without further ado, let me just have a quick glance at who we've got in the room. So a third of us are founders, a third of us are in operations, a third of us are in other departments. I should really give more options there. Sorry about that. Now, most of us are here to create and house our SOPs. A few of us are here primarily to focus on training new and existing team members. And also a huge amount of us are here to build this single source of truth, this kind of business playbook. And actually, the vast majority of people on the call here are between the 1 and the 100 mark, with most people being between 20 and 100, actually pretty evenly between the 1s and 20s as well. So welcome. If you're here, now you've got a sense of who else is in the room as well. And let's get going with our first feature. But before we do, I just want to share with you what success looks like. Now, I know many of you are veterans of the Waybook world, and some of you are quite new. So I love to just share a few of the conversations which we have with existing Waybook users. Now, here you can see Josh. Josh runs a fantastic business called Stand for Socks, believe it or not. It's a custom sock company. And what he did was, as a solo founder, just spent a huge amount of his time being the bottleneck of all of the knowledge, the information, the training, the processes, the sign-offs, everything for a really long time. And actually, when he systematized his business, structured it and centralized it on Waybook, he said he was able to reduce his onboarding time to just 20%. So that's not reduce it by 20%, it reduced it to 20% of the previous time. That's for new employees. He said he was actually able to entirely remove himself from the day-to-day operational conversations. So all of these things about the repetitive questions, where stuff is, what we should do, he said he eliminated himself. And that was actually a process of decanting his mind into the Waybook. But also every time somebody asked a question, he would answer it via a document within Waybook, which means he never has to answer it again. And then finally, he was able to improve and maintain his customer service, which he says is critical for keeping their 4.8 on Trustpilot. So if you've had great experiences on Waybook or systematizing your business, we also love to hear from you. Please do get in touch. I always just literally love to jump on a call and get more of a sense of you, your business, and what you're up to. But let's jump in. Let's look at perhaps one of the most exciting features of the century, or technology advancements of the century. It is, of course, Waybook AI. Now, I know many of you would have played with your various artificial intelligence tools and OpenAI and ChatGPT and whatever else. If you haven't, you will after this, I absolutely assure you. But essentially, Waybook AI is designed because we noticed that we always want to increase the ease of creating our documents. A lot of what we're doing is, yes, creating that knowledge that already exists in our business, but we also want to create the best practice of what happens in our industry and in our markets. And when we come to do that, yes, we can do the research, yes, we can do lots of other stuff, but creating a policy, a procedure, a document, and a piece of information, starting from that blank piece of paper is really difficult. So Waybook AI is essentially an AI-generated content writer where you can decide to instantly write custom documentation, pulling on both best practices and structures, and actually utilizing the core pieces of information that are relevant to you and your business. Now, the way you access that is in your Waybook right now. It's already available. So let's head over into a Waybook account now, and I'll give you a bit of a sense of how you can access it and what it's capable of. Now, if this isn't going to be enough for you, then we did do a full feature announcement of this last week. And Elle, if we could possibly circulate after this, the link to that full webinar. And of course, if you've got any questions, you can of course get in touch. So in your normal Waybook dashboard, of course, all you do is you toggle over into edit mode and we can create a new document. So of course, you can do that on the quick add here, or you can just add a new document. I've already just created a blank document here. Now, you'll be able to see that I can do all of the normal things. I can add new steps, new tests, I can import collaborators, browse our templates, import from other documents, but you'll see the new button here is the AI writer. Now, if you click on this AI writer, it will power up this module where you can then choose what type of document you're looking to create. So say, for example, we want it to be a normal information document. You can choose a document. Is it an internal piece of knowledge which you're sharing, maybe a policy? Is it a specific procedure? So actually, are we looking for the fundamental kind of best practices and procedural processes for a particular aspect to your business? Or actually, are we looking to create the outline of an SOP document? So the difference between these two is, instead of actually putting the information in, it will just create the headers, the structures that you can then take into your Waybook. So for this example, let's just create a client intake process. So we're going to create a standard operating procedure about client intake. Now, when you get to your description, you can give it as much information as you possibly can, and that will fine-tune it down to the specificity of your business. So for a client intake procedure, we might want to say, create us a procedure for client intake describing the best practices and core process of intaking new clients, including gathering client information, providing service information, and identifying opportunities for upselling and cross-selling for a law firm, let's say, or a legal practice. Now, the important thing to bear in mind here is I have given it quite a bit of information, but you might have noticed that the information I was giving it was all really general stuff. Best practices for contact information and things like that. The more specific you can be with this, the better it is. So I've sort of led it astray a little bit by asking for specific things in a general way. But here's what it will put out for that client intake process. So first of all, it's saying gather the client information, ensure intake staff is properly trained and knowledgeable about the firm's services, gather the basic information from the client, names, address, email, phone number, ask the client the primary reason for seeking legal services, ask the client to provide additional information about their legal matter. Then it's created these kind of 4 different steps of the process, providing the service information, identifying opportunities for cross-sell, and then also documenting the client intake. Now, if we're not happy with this, we can simply just restart it, change the prompt, add some bits in, take it out. But if we are happy with this as a fundamental starting point, we can take this into this document. Now, you can just click on any of these elements and start to split the step. So if we say this first part is gathering client information, and we can make that the document there. We can say that these are the different steps that we're going to focus on, and say, for example, we're going to create that basic information. You can now, of course, start to pull that information out and start to edit it in the way that you like to within your documents. So, for example, we can turn that into a checklist. So if somebody's actually following this as a step or a procedure, they're able to say, yeah, I've asked their name, I've got their address, I've got their phone number. Now you can specify the different reasons or the different activities. What are the core services? So this is a great way that we can start from this rather than a blank page, and then actually we can continue to add and edit and develop. Now, once we're happy with that document, of course, all you do is you just publish that, make that available to the team members that you want, and that is knowledge that lives in your business forever and can be consistently shared. So that is essentially the fundamental kind of introduction to your Waybook AI. It honestly is absolutely mind-blowing stuff. I cannot wait for you to get your hands on it and really do have a play with different prompts, different information, and definitely flick between using different document types and SOP or an outline of a procedure. I have no doubt it will really get you a long way of actually identifying new best practices and, of course, not starting from that blank piece of paper. So next up, we have document permissions. Now, in order to fully understand what this release is, you need to fully understand how document permissions currently work within Waybook, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's all change. Now, this is a procedure, and this is a feature that we've had requested quite heavily for a while. And the reason why we've decided to focus on this is because what people essentially do within their Waybook is to ensure that they have the perfect structure for their content, or the ideal structure for their content, and love to ensure that only the right team members have access to that right piece of information. Now, as you'll know, as Waybook veterans on the call, it's not just about giving people the right level of access, it's about giving them the right level of control. So, for example, your marketing manager can, yes, want to read the brand guidelines, but we might want them to be able to edit or publish the brand guidelines rather than anything else. So what we've done here is we've actually extended the flexibility of the document permissions, which means that you are now able, or very, very soon, and we're talking Monday, will be able to access and set permissions on an individual document basis rather than on a subject basis. Now, this will be available in your account on Monday, and I'm not actually going to show it to you right now. That's mainly because last time I did that, I got in trouble, because it will change a bit, but it is tested and it is very stable and going out. But you will be able to access that by heading over into your members tab and going into your groups. Now, if you jump into any group that you've created, or when you're creating, the two fundamental things you decide are who is in this group and what does that group see. But you'll be able to see that actually all of the groups that the information you're putting on are merely just subjects. So these are all of the subjects we've created, which, as a reminder, when we go back to our Waybook, the subjects are essentially these essential folders of information, the collections of information. So if in the sales handbook, we want to share just how we conduct demos to a person, they actually currently have to have access to that whole subject, but not from Monday. You'll be able to go into that group. You'll be able to look at the, where was I, the marketing executive group, add in just that document that you're looking to share rather than the whole sales handbook. The way you'll do that is you'll just click on that subject and you'll be able to toggle on and off the individual documents within that subject. Now, this is a really great way for you to make sure that the right people have the right level of access. And of course, at any time, you can click into that individual member and you'll be able to see what role they have over your organization, what groups they're a part of, and of course, what subjects and soon documents they have access to. So I'm sure many of you are excited about this. The deeper you are within permissions, the more you'll know how amazing and liberating that feature is going to be. So next up, let's now look at the third out of the fourth. This is speed improvements. Now, it's no lie, Waybook has grown a huge amount over the last couple of years. Now, with millions of steps across multiple accounts, we're always trying to find ways to make sure that the fundamental thing that people have within their Waybook is very fast access to the content and the knowledge that they need. The reason why this is so important to us is because one of our aims and ambitions is to stop those repetitive questions internally. Stop people asking where the logo files are, or asking how we do client intake, or asking how we do, book a holiday, and actually enabling Waybook to be the solution to answer those questions faster than any other method. And of course, freeing up our time and headspace to focus on more valuable things. So in order to remove that, we know it has to be fast, it has to be quick, and also making sure that it saves us time in creating the teams, in creating the knowledge, and sharing that knowledge with our teams. So what we've done over the last month is we've done a huge amount of speed optimizations across the board. We've thought some of the same features up from the ground up, and you will notice it will be accessible on your account. Some of it's already gone out, and a huge amount of it is also going out into your accounts on Monday. But reports are lightning fast, permissions are lightning fast, search is significantly faster, and you're able to create and move around your content much, much faster than ever before. And as you know, it's also pretty fast. The reason why we're mentioning this here is because it just shows that actually the importance of making sure your Waybook is adopted within your team. We know that actually it's essential for it to just be part of somebody's life and part of somebody's interaction with the business. Now, finally, the fourth and final feature that I'm excited to share with you today is, of course, the search reports. Now, the reason why we thought this was so important to prioritize and, of course, share with you is that it really gives us the ability to identify those knowledge gaps within the business before they present themselves as a problem, and also focusing on us equipping our team with exactly what knowledge they need, of course, when they need it. So what we've done is we've added in a new report within the search tabs, which is essentially the window into your Waybook world, sharing with you exactly what your team are not just looking at, but looking for and of course, seeing whether or not there is the right content for them. So the way you can access this, it's already in your account, it's already available, it's included in all plans. You just head on over to the reports tab. Now, let me just show you a little bit about what that is and also why it's valuable. So the main way that people interact with their Waybook once they've done their initial onboarding is, of course, their search. They might search through the search bar here, through your plugin, your browser extension, or of course for your Slack integration or any other method. Now, we can search for the logo files, and of course, we can jump straight into the logo. Now, that's fine. That's a great experience as a team member. But say, for example, I'm searching for insurance. Okay, there's not actually any information on insurance, so let me just look for something else. And sometimes we've identified that if somebody is looking at a document that isn't in there, there is actually a document in there for insurance. But say, for example, I'm searching for offboarding. Okay, there's nothing there from offboarding. So now somebody might just ask a colleague a question. How do we offboard that team member, or what are the process or the procedure of offboarding? As soon as that happens, your single source of truth has begun to dissipate back across the team. So to stop that from happening, what we've done is we've added in a feature of the most popular searches that are happening live within your Waybook account. Now, if you go to your search insights, you'll see a full list of all of the searches that have happened within your Waybook over the last 7 days. Now, you'll see that I've searched for logo, and actually we got 4 searches for logo, and there's 2 results. That's pretty good. We can also actually jump directly into that search and see what people see if they have the same level of access. But the ones where this becomes really interesting are the ones that we are seeing multiple times, but don't have any results. So the example I gave there of offboarding. So, okay, that's pretty interesting. We can see that people are searching for offboarding. And remember, our job to keep the knowledge within our business super efficient is, of course, create that process, that procedure, that piece of knowledge for offboarding. Now, of course, if we don't have a policy or procedure for that, you can ask people what the best practice is. You can use our template library, or of course, you can create an AI-generated process or procedure on how you offboard. Because we are also sharing that with you today, why don't we do that now? So write a standard operating procedure document about offboarding an employee, describing how a company, or describing the process and procedure a company should take to effectively offboard an employee for it's there, so let's use it for a marketing agency. Now, again, I've been quite generic with this. And when we're creating content with the AI, the more specific that you have, specificity you have in it, the tighter it will become. So once we've created this document, we'll be able to start to identify, firstly, what is offboarding? What are the fundamental things we need to do? You'll notice that I've actually asked it to create a specific SOP. So it's going to put the pieces of knowledge or information in. If I had asked it to create an SOP outline, it would have actually just given more in-depth information of the higher level things for us to do. So basically it says there's a core process that we're doing here. We need to have the pre-offboarding preparation, so schedule the meeting with the employee, gather the necessary paperwork and resources. For the offboarding meeting, we want to explain the reason for offboarding, explain the next steps, provide the employee with necessary documentation, collect the company property, discuss open items. So here you can actually say, right, there's 3 stages of this: before offboarding, the core meeting itself, and the post offboarding, where we take away the access to their systems and things like that. Now, that is just a great way for us to say, cool, let's put this in as offboarding. Of course, you can split steps here and you can do whatever you like. But as soon as we publish that, if we then go back into our normal dashboard, and the next time an employee comes in and they say, okay, how do we do offboarding? Here we go. Here's the process. Here's the procedure. Here's the piece of information. Now, I know that there's more specific information and customization you'll make to your own documents, but truly with the search results and the Waybook AI utilizing on best practice, it really tightens up that feedback loop to make sure that your job is literally just to, what are people asking for? How can we optimize these processes? How can we centralize that, share it out to people, and everybody can enjoy some more smooth scaling. So that is our final feature, which I'm going to share with you today. What's up next for us? Document permissions will be in your account from Monday, and we're continuing to do some additional optimizations on that. The next feature, which is already in production, is learning flows. This is probably the next most, well, it's definitely the next most requested feature, where essentially it enables you to set up against a particular group or person a custom flow through your content. So your sales team to your customer success team to your marketing team will have a different focus and a different order of different documents and knowledge across your Waybook. So that will be out within the coming few weeks. We then also have in-document commenting, which is coming up, and an improved dashboard to make sure that your team can easily navigate through your content as and when you need. We also have a huge amount more in the pipeline. You can always access our public roadmap. And of course, get in touch if you've got any thoughts, if you've got any ideas, if you'd like to just share with us how you're using Waybook and how you think it can be way more valuable. We are always all ears and love to help. And with that, that brings me to the very end of our product updates webinar for February 2023. I hope you're all having a very smooth start to your 2023, as if it's February already. I'm just going to hang on here for 2 minutes because you've been a quiet bunch. So I'm just making sure if anybody's got any questions, now is the time. Post in the chat, post in the Q&A. And if not, that is the end of the session, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to see you on these calls and love the opportunity to speak with you more and share what we're doing here, because we know that actually what you're doing in your businesses with a little boost from Waybook is truly magical. So thank you so much for all that you do. Please do get in touch if we can ever support, and we truly wish you all some very smooth scaling as you all continue to get your business on the same page. I've been Mike, co-founder of Waybook, and I cannot wait to see you on the next one. Have a great one. Take care.